Okay, hi folks, welcome. Who have we got? Alana V8M, hi there. Bobby Sue, hi. Bobby Sue, again, OMG. Let me just turn the volume down on that. And that's a cool drawing. Thank you very much, Bobby Sue. That's your most, well, thank you so much for being here. And it's a very kind comment as well. Thank you for that. So I'm going to be kicking off soon. I've got 2 streams on the go at the moment. So let me turn that music down a second. So I'm aiming to, I'll just do a little kind of go through my sketchbook, and then I'm going to be doing a little bit of watercolouring. I'm just going to have a look at the other stream and see if anything's happening there. We've got 8 people watching on my other mainstream as well. So welcome to everyone on the Jason Etienne channel as well. So I've got two streams going on. So you are most welcome. Please feel free to put a chat in. I'm just going to go through a little preamble of what I'm going to be doing. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit there, just so you can sort of see the sketchbook a bit more. So I've been streaming solidly now for the last probably couple of weeks, and I shall just do a quick guide through a recap of what I've been doing so far. That was a sort of illustration I was doing today. I've been working on themes. I've been having some regular people watching as well, some lovely people giving some feedback on it as well. But essentially, I've just been doing, this is what I think I did this yesterday, there we go. A little kind of underwater scene that you can see there. It's generally ink and watercolour and no particular theme, although I've been doing this kind of Dickensian, well, more Victorian alternate universe with these interdimensional creatures that have invaded London. There's some like learned scholars or gentlemen there, a bare knuckle fighter, and another guy there. And there we go, another little, that's one of the street scenes. So this is kind of like London alternate universe, monster breaking through the cobbles, and husband and his wife in absolute panic. And I could certainly go over the rest of it as we go. This is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to sort of ink that in. Alternate universe Fred Dibner, for anyone who knows who Fred Dibner was. You might get the joke, but if not, he was like an engineer, used to be on TV. But he's one of these guys who kind of like gets rid of these entities. There's another one there as well. But I can go through all this a little bit later on. I thought you'd just appreciate me doing a little bit of watercolouring. So I'm just going to position that now and just see if I could just, oh actually no, that's looking all right actually, just space wise. Okay, and I usually open it up, so I'm going to be doing a bit of painting. You're more than welcome to ask some questions, give a bit of feedback, and of course if you are enjoying this, if you're just stopping by momentarily and then you're going to zip off, that's absolutely fine. You should find it on the channel a little bit later. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe if you do like this content. It helps the channel, as they say in YouTube land. So I'm just having a look to see if there are any more comments. Just a quick look. I don't want to ignore anybody at all. So we've got that going on there. Let's have a look at the other stream. There we go. So Pop Will Eat Itself, that brilliant band. Pop Will Eat Itself. Are they still going? I don't know if they're still going. That looks amazing. Thank you so much, Pop Will Eat Itself. That great track they did, was it? Give Me Big Mac, Fries to Go, and many other greats. Great band from, was it late 90s, late 80s, early 90s. Anyway, let's get going. I've got a bunch of comments on that channel. Nothing on the other channel, but I'm just going to keep checking it intermittently. I know there are 2 people watching on there. Let's get going. So I'm going to be colouring this scene in, and I'm just going to set up my, what's that? Pop Will Eat Itself. No, they aren't. Clint isn't with them anymore. Oh, what a shame. It was such a brilliant, they were like way ahead of their time, weren't they? Even the title was like way ahead of its time. Pop Will Eat Itself, because Pop did in fact eat itself. So yeah, very what do they call it, prescient. But yeah, brilliant band. Anyway, so I'm going to start colouring this in. I'm not quite decided what. Let's put those over there. I'm not decided what. I might even just start on this dude first, and start thinking about what shall I. I've got some nice new watercolors which I picked up today, so I'm gonna dip into these, and I'm thinking like kind of brownish leather kind of saddle. I'm not sure what this thing is. It's kind of like a big hairy pig horse type thing. It's just sort of a fantasy scene, so I'm going to delve into that and see where we go. But yeah, I'm thinking mainly kind of like subtle colours with what? With, I'm not sure about the, I don't know, I might do something a little bit different with the pig. We'll see. We shall see. I'm just trying to break into my inks at the moment because they're brand spanking new. Let's get going. Let's do this. Right. So I'm going to start mixing this in. And basically just kind of, this is like a fairly loose wash because I want the ink to kind of come through. So I'm not going in too heavy with this. Of course, it's watercolor, so it's quite forgiving. And yeah, it's kind of almost like mustard, something like that. Little Rick, welcome back, Little Rick. It's brilliant to see you. Brilliant. I saw you briefly yesterday, didn't I? Pot Will Eat Itself. Do you sell your pictures? I love gnomes and stuff. I do do commissions. I've not done commissions for a while. So just a bit of my background. Little Rick will know this, but yeah, I used to work in movies. I did bits of like set design, prop design, concept art, and now I teach games art. And I used to sell paintings. I used to have a bit of a gallery. I used to do sort of like concept pieces, things like that. But I can, if you stick around, I will drop my email in the chat. You can email me privately. I'm happy to do anything like a sort of commission, stuff like that. But yeah, gnomes are great. Anything really, you know. I just like to have a bit of fun. But yes, so in answer to your question, yes, I will sell work. Anyway, so I'm just going to work my way around. Pot Will Eat Itself. That's so cool. You've had a really interesting career. Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, it's been some of the regulars will probably. I'm not sure they get sick of it, but I've already spoken about it a couple of times. I'll just give you the brief overview. So I used to be a stop frame animator. Used to make films. We're going back into the 90s now, and trying to get work at Aardman, things like that. And I was just kind of arriving at a time where CGI was coming in, and even, you know, ironically, I ended up doing CGI, you know, teaching, you know, animation and Blender and Maya and things like that. But back then, I didn't really know. And so I found myself at a crossroads, and then a friend of mine suggested a film that I could go and work on called Johnny English. You may have seen it. And ironically, I worked on a whole bunch of films like Kick-Ass. I did a bit of work on, well, uncredited on X-Men First Class and a bunch of other things. But the last film I ever did was Johnny English 2. Can you believe that? So I started off with Johnny English and ended with Johnny English 2. Then I went to teach out in Thailand, doing concept art and animation. The university got flooded, don't ask, it's a long story. But then I came back to the UK, and then just ended up teaching animation and stuff, and then sort of fell into teaching games art, and I've been there ever since. So there we are. That's the whirlwind tour of my career. Yeah. So anyway, there we are. But yeah, feel free to ask any other questions. I'm here for a chat, do a bit of painting, and I'll show you a bit of my sketchbook at the end of it. I'm just going to check to see if we've had any people joining. Hey, so I can't even pronounce this. I'm just going to say Jaja. How about Jaja? Jaja said hi. Jaja, I'm saying hi back. Jaja said salute. Salute back to you, Jaja. And salute 100%, salute 100% back to you, Jaja. It's lovely to have you on board watching. I've got 2 streams on the go at the moment. I'm going to keep flicking back and forth. Kit Kats is here. Excellent. Evening, Tigers. Evening, Kit Kats. Lovely to see you. We've got some new people watching tonight. We've got the lovely Pop Will Eat Itself. Very cool. And yeah, hopefully this will be a nice stream. So I'm starting off by inking this character. Well, not inking. I'm using the watercolour for this character I've just created. I may even start another one. We'll see. We'll see how we get on. Because I did do another... No, I'm not going to go into that yet. I did do another one, but we'll dip back into that a little later. But welcome one and all. I hope you all stick around. If you can't stick around, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. And catch me in the next one. I know we're all a bit busy, aren't we? We can sometimes... I'm like this with YouTube. I see something cool, I think, great. I'll look at that later, and then I subscribe or just, get it on the history and then watch it later. So I understand not everyone can stick around, but if you can, that would be awesome. It'd be nice to have you here. All right, so let's do a bit of white. I've got brand new. These are my brand new. Where are we? These are my brand new watercolors. So literally, I've not used them before. So I'm having to they've got these things on the end. You can see that. It's kind of like foil. So I'm having to kind of pop them open. I should really have tried to do these beforehand. And then they're all going into. Oops, there we go. They're all going into that there. Just mix them all together. Just to give you a little bit of behind the scenes of what's going on. Right, I'm going to start painting in a bit of this flesh tone around on his face. Right. Kit Kat's 2 words for you: steampunk wizard. Yeah, steampunk wizard. I'm not sure if you're giving an overview or you're referring to me. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, that's the kind of vibe that's been going on with the live streams. It's kind of a bit steampunky, but then I'm kind of like I'm veering into kind of a bit more fantasy here, just having a bit of a diversion at the moment. Can I zoom in a little bit just so you can see a bit more detail? Let's see if I can just move that down a bit for you, just so you can see it a bit more. Whenever I watch these other people on YouTube live streaming, sometimes I want to see more, and they'll be doing it like, they'll be showing the whole table. I'm like, I want to kind of see the details. So I thought I'd just make this. I haven't got my other glasses on. Got the wrong glasses on. That's better. Grand job. I'm just going to check on the other channel. Oh, there we go. Kit Kats. Retract that. 3 words. Space steampunk wizard. Yes, that's probably a bit more an accurate description. A bit more of an accurate description. So, yeah. Let's just go back now to that. All right. So just working my way through. As I said before, if you do enjoy the content, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. It's a relatively new channel. I started it last year, but I've been doing it's been mainly for my students at Coventry. And it's been, to be fair, it's mainly been like things like Blender and a bit of Photoshop and some other bits and bobs. But I'm really loving doing the live streaming, and met some really wonderful people like your good selves, and some people who are perhaps not here at the moment. James, who isn't here, and some other people as well. But it's a really nice little community, and it's an absolute pleasure, really. a lovely place to be. So there we are. Yeah, these, I've been having some issues with these other watercolors, but these are absolutely fantastic. I love these ones. These are really top notch. I got them from my local art shop today, and yeah, definitely loving the watercolors. Right, something like that. Let's just see. I have to keep checking back and forth, just making sure that. So welcome to everyone who's watching on the Jason Etienne channel. I'm actually streaming on both channels. So if you want to leave a few comments, ask about the painting, you are more than welcome. Right, okay, so I'm happy with that. Let's have a look now at this other part. We've got these kind of like leather, we've got like a leather saddle. I don't want it to be exactly, I mean, it's probably going to work out almost the same as like this character here, but it doesn't really matter. And the idea is with the watercolors, you see, that it doesn't obliterate the ink work, so it kind of sinks in. So you can actually see the line, so you kind of get that nice line art going on. Okay. Yeah, these are way, way better. Yeah, those other ones are all right, but these paints are just a different notch. Fabulous. All right, and then he's kind of got these. He's kind of almost medieval, this character. So he's kind of got these. I guess there will be like leggings, but his boots are probably going to be like leather or cloth. I don't know, probably leather. So let's colour those in. It's funny actually, he does look a bit like a gnome, doesn't he? He's got that gnome kind of look about him. Mobile gnome. So what, Kit Kats, what's this guy's story? Travelling merchant. I'm thinking, yes, exactly that. I'm thinking travelling merchant. I'm not sure if you've ever seen the film Jabberwocky. It was made back in the 1980s by the Monty Python team. I'm not saying this is like I've drawn it from it. It's just this what kind of came to mind whilst I was doing it, and it was directed by I think Terry Jones, the late Terry Jones, unfortunately. But anyway, it's based on the, is it Lewis Carroll? Beware the Jabberwock, my son. That one, and yeah, and it kind of looks like a character from that anyway. But yeah, traveling merchant, maybe selling. Well, he's not. If he's a merchant, he's not carrying a lot. Usually, he'd have like a cart or something, wouldn't he? If he was going to be, selling stuff. So it could be like, you know, could be spices, something like that. Who knows? Right. Let's have a look at this character now. What? Okay, I'm going to make this interactive. What colour do you think this strange pig, hairy pig type animal should be that is riding? What will complement these colours? What would you say? Any suggestions? I'm completely open. Let's make it interactive, yeah? Nothing from the other side. We've got people watching on the Jason Etienne channel. We've got nothing from there. What are people saying on this side? I'll give you, I think there's probably like always like a bit of a delay. I think from where I am, it's like latency. So I'm going to give you a little bit of time. I've already painted the branch in. That's already kind of gone. He's walking on this branch. I might do a bit of the sky. Whilst I get some suggestions, I'll do a bit of the sky. I'll zoom out a little bit, if it will let me. Are you going to let me? There we go. Right. I'm going to do a bit of sky now. Sky-wise, I'm going to go for something like blue. I think blue generally is a safe bet. It's a kind of, it's a summer's day in the strange land that this character is in. And he's walking across this branch that's fallen down, or more like a log, like a tree. What is it? You know, it's like a trunk of a tree that's maybe going across a river or something. So the idea is that he's taking a walk across that, and it's a beautiful day. I might just what a bit of that. What's this? Kit Kats. I'm sure I bought some. I better be careful. I say some nice herbs from a guy dressed like that at the festival of the 90s. I'm sure you did. The 90s were definitely. I'm sure you know. Maybe you know. I better not say. But anyway, I'm pretty certain you probably did. And I'm guessing somewhere like Reading or possibly Glastonbury, something like that, I'd imagine. Something like that. There were always these sketchy people around, weren't there, back in the day? I mean, some brilliant people, but yes, I concur. Right. So yeah, any suggestions what colour our little kind of hairy pig horse should be? Can't be too psychedelic, but something that will complement the character. So you could go for something like purple, maybe, or if not purple, it could be grey, or I'm going to make this as interactive as I can. So feel free to make a suggestion. Nothing from the other side as yet, so nothing from Jason Etienne drawing Chillstream. I think we've just got people watching. 7 people watching on that side. You are welcome if you're enjoying this. Don't forget to hit like, comment and subscribe. That would be wonderful. And yeah, any suggestions about what colour the creature could be that he is riding? So I want to make this interactive. What colour could it be? Let me just widen this a little bit just so you can see me doing a bit of the sky. There we go. Something like that. There we go. So any suggestions? Purple, pink, grey, yellow? What else? I'm only saying this because I've just got this array of different colours in my with my watercolours. So I wouldn't say blue because we've got a blue sky. So something preferably that will complement. A patchwork cow. What would that look like though? It could. It's a nice idea. That could break up the line though. Kit Kats. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to. What's the word? Dampen your creativity. Let's put it that way. But if I do like multiple colours, it could become a little bit like it could break things up a little bit. So I don't mind like possibly a bit of two-tone. But thanks for the suggestion, Joe. That's that could be one. You could shelf that one, and we can maybe try that on another stream. Try something else out. I'm just looking for something that's kind of. I mean, I'm thinking if I could maybe do a few tests. What if I do a colour swatch? See, I could do something like that, you know, a little colour swatch. Let's have a look. Kit Kats. Dark brown getting lighter at the belly. Well, you see, again, oh, I'm so sorry, right? But the character's dark brown, so he'll kind of look like he's part of the character. I'm sorry, Kit Kats. I'm asking for suggestions, and I'm not. What if it was like more of a lighter brown and then getting lighter at the bottom? What about something like that? I can maybe see something like that working. possibly. James Wright, wow, this is a cool style. Thank you, James, and welcome. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. If you like this comment, be sure to like, well, you have commented, and subscribe. I try and do a stream. Every day. I think most days. I don't think I've. No, I missed Saturday, but most days I'm on here doing a stream for about an hour or so, sometimes a bit longer. But I'm glad you liked the style. If you stick around or watch later, I usually flick through the sketchbook and just kind of show what I've been doing. But thank you for the comments. Let's have a look and see. And the other one. Kit Kats, paint your bloody donkey cow, whatever the hell call you want there. I know, I'm being a stubborn bugger. I know, I'm sorry, but they were lovely suggestions. Well, listen, just keep that idea, remind me tomorrow, and we'll do something. I'll try and factor that in to into a character. How about that? Just remind me though, and then we'll do something. We'll work something. We'll do a little collab thing tomorrow, the day after, or whatever. All right, so I've kind of got these kind of clouds going on. And then that's all kind of fading down to the bottom here. What about this, Kit Kats? What if we don't do it like patchwork, but we do, it starts off as one colour and goes into another? What about that? There we go, we've got a compromise. I'm just thinking now. Could be like two-tone. I don't know. Need a bit of blue in there. James Wright, the hat looks like a Bronze Age Greek helmet, almost, like Dendra armor. And they try and recreate from description sometimes. I'm not familiar with Dendra armor, but that sounds pretty cool though. Thank you for the comment, by the way. It's after I did it, I thought, you know what? It's kind of like probably inspired by one of my all-time heroes, comic book heroes, Mobius. Because he used to do this thing called Arzak, which has got this kind of character with a funny hat. Kit Kat sounds ace. All right, there we go. Deal. Let's do that. Let's do it two-tone. Let's start off with a colour. I mean, it could be anything really. It could be an orangey colour going into yellow. I mean, I guess it could do it like complementary, or it could be yellow going into purple. I think what we'll do is we'll do a little kind of colour swatch and then see where we go from there. Dendra armor. I don't think I've ever heard of Dendra armor. Interesting. I'll have to go and have a look. Let me have a look online. So a second. Dendra armor. Dendra armor. Let's have a look. Dendra armor. Let's have a look. Let's go to images. No images? That's weird. Let's try Google them. Dendra armor. Oh yes, there's a guy, yes, Dendra armor. I have seen it. Because there was a guy on YouTube there that he's like an expert on Greek armor, you know, like from like thousands of years ago, and he was talking about the new Christopher Nolan film, you know, the Odyssey, and how they've completely ignored the how the armor would be. It's completely like, it's nothing like it. It was actually very colourful. The armor from back in the days of, you know, Odysseus. Well, you know, that period in Greek history. It wasn't like medieval Europe. It was like very, very bright, very light, and, you know, spectacular. Anyway, yeah, interesting. Let's see if there's any other comments on there. Oh, we've got a comment on the other channel as well. Adismat Tujul, if I'm pronouncing that correct. Well, Tujul to you too. Tujul. And thank you for the comment. All right, so we've got that. So let's have a look at this. I'll stop messing around with the sky, and I think I'll just try and keep that as neutral. In fact, I've done it again. I need some tissue. 1 second. There we are. Let's try and blur this a little bit. To jewel. Right, let's have a look at this hairy pig horse thing. So what did we say? Could it be red? Or it could be, I quite like the, okay, let's try this. I can't go in too heavy. I'm going to try purple legs. Wherever I put my knife, I'm not sure I put my knife now. Purple legs and what? It could be red. I'm thinking possibly red. I'm not sure. We shall see. But I'm going to go in with a bit of purple. And then put a lightish purple, maybe even add a bit of white to it, just so it's a bit more violet. Let's try that. Oh no, probably a bit darker than that. Kit Kats, purple legs, grey into white, showing it's old. See, I'm liking this Kit Kats. I knew we'd get there. I knew we'd get there in the end. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Yes, it's an old animal. It's been round the block. It's done many miles. Yeah, I'm liking this. I'm liking this. It's different. There we go. Yes, purple legs into grey. I like it. Right. And that's going to be like a darkish purple there. Something like that. And then we'll fade that into the white. As Kit Kat suggested. Something like that. I don't want to go in too heavy, so I want to just to suggest the colour, just so it doesn't completely annihilate the ink. But not too bad so far, not too bad at all. All right. And it's a bit of a purple belly. I think this is going to work out really well. Start to add a bit more white in there. Anyway, it's great to have you all on board. And again, if you're watching this later, folks, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with friends if you like this content. I try to live stream most days. The only times I generally won't be live streaming is if I'm just out with mates. But generally I will aim to live stream. Now we need a black in there, I think. There we go. Right. Bit of black. I'm assuming that's black. Actually, that's violet. Well, that's actually probably a bit better. Violet's close to purple, isn't it? So we've got a bit of a drop shadow going on there. And we'll add a bit of white. blend that in a little bit. Say something like that. A bit of white in the tail, I think. It's a bit like with dogs, isn't it? They kind of white around the muzzle, around the paws, things like that. And a bit around the tail. And then a bit round there, around the bum. All right, that's not looking too bad so far. Let's have a look now at working away up. So probably around about the chest areas, probably, and the muzzle area is probably where it's going to be becoming very white. Let's check on the other channel. So again, to anyone who's watching, just tuning into this, if you're enjoying the content, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. It will be available later, so even if you can't sort of stick around, I'll be uploading it to the channel so you can watch it. Look. Kit Kat gives it character. Absolutely, I agree. I agree. That was a good suggestion, that. I think I'll add a bit more purple in parts once I've kind of got the main parts kind of painted in. But it's not turned out too badly. Am I Kit Kats? Am I far off monetization on here? I think it's still a way off. I think you have to have. So on my other channel, which I've got some lovely people watching from, I've got about over 1,500 people subscribed on that, and I think you have to. There's certain criteria. I think when you monetize. I'm not sure if I've got, it might be you have to have like 2,000 people or something like that. I might stand corrected on that, I can't remember. But the monetization, I don't think it kind of like, it amounts to a lot unless you've got gazillions of followers. So if you're like, if you're heading towards like 1 million, a couple of million and above, I think then it can be, you can actually, I'm not sure about make a wage, but you can certainly have some nice support on there. So I don't think so. I'm not too fussed in a way, because I think one of the things I was talking, I mentioned this the other night, which you may recall, was possibly doing a crowdfund. So basically like a crowdfund to have this sketchbook printed and then do something like that. That might be a way of, just, well, I think a good thing to do anyway. It's still a bit of a way off because I think I've got quite a bit to get through. I've made a lot of good ground with the sketchbook so far, but this could be like maybe getting into later in the year, or not, or maybe sooner, I don't know. But in terms of monetization, it's a bit, from what I understand, it can be a bit a steep hill to climb. Right. Something like that. Anywho, wasn't looking too bad there. Alrighty. So not looking too shabby. So let's see. Gonna add some little bits. Could have some, maybe like some spots. A bit like my sister's got one of the, I think it is. Was it Appaloosa horse? Could be something like that. Give him a spotty belly. Then I don't think that's looking too bad. Personally, I think that's looking all right. So, very good suggestion from Kit Kats there. Thank you, Kit Kats. I think that was a really good call, phasing it in from purple to white. Not a bad call at all. Right. 7:07. All right. So this isn't far from being finished, I don't think. I think this is all right. I could start another little drawing. I could show you what I've got so far. Could even potentially paint. Yeah, I do want to do that time-wise. I've got another one that I just started, which I showed at the beginning. But that might require a bit more time. Is it kind of a wizard running through going through a swamp on his horse or donkey or whatever it is. Oh, I missed that. Sorry, Kit Kats. You typed something, then you deleted it. But anyway, not to worry. But yes, I think that's not looking too bad. I quite like that. You know, again, I've got to be careful. I've got to be careful, Jason. Don't go overboard. Just like with the cross-hatching. Right. I think that's not looking too bad. Now, do I want to add, you know, this is where I've got to be careful. I've got to, like, you know, slap on the wrist. Just be careful. Don't overdo it, because you got the, I don't want. What I was thinking of putting just like lightening this up, but I could see that going all kinds of wrong. It's really nice. Well, you know, in my humble opinion, I think this is working out really well at the moment, because there's a nice. I'm letting like the color of the page come through. I'm not obliterating it whilst introducing some color. If I start painting the whole thing, I could see that just going south and just turning into a bit of a hot mess. So I'm tempted to stop fiddling and leave that, possibly either start another drawing, or just maybe just flick through the what I've done so far and do a little recap. We shall see. But I am loving my new watercolours. This is like a real game changer. I must admit, I used to do big, when I used to sort of sell paintings many years ago, I used to do a lot of skyscapes. Just love skies. And dare I say, we're starting to get some good weather here in the UK, so maybe we'll start to see a bit more of that. Who knows? This is a strictly no hot mess zone. I agree, Kit Kats. It is strictly a no hot mess zone. We've got to sort of keep our powder dry and make sure that we don't. I can see where this could go. I mean, again, I'm not going to do too much. I'm just doing a little bit. Doing like a nice kind of sun, not with this, but you know, on another one, a nice little sunset. I think that could be really nice, you know, with a character or something. To be continued. But yeah, love skies. But yeah, that is going to. I think wrap it up for this one, and then maybe we'll have a look. Maybe we'll start in the drawing, or end on a little drawing maybe for another piece. I did have this idea. I did start doing a bit of a sketch earlier on, and maybe I could start having a go on that. Although I haven't, imagine I can always prime it afterwards. Right. Yeah, I'm going to stop fiddling with that. So stop it, Jason. That's enough of that. And now let's have a look at, well, first of all, again, I don't want to ruin that. I better just keep the page off there. So just to, well, let's work back from today. So today, let me just move this out of the way. So I started doing this today. Now I may start painting. I don't think I'm going to paint this now. I think I'll paint it later. Just had this idea. I think I did show the drawing of this the other day. And it was a sort of wizard riding the horse through a swamp. And there's some warrior character there, maybe like these stone figures in the background. And I quite like that. So again, that might be a painting for later. This one was from earlier, well, later on, or earlier yesterday. And it was a father and son. I'm not sure if you can see that. Let me just tell you what, I'll hold it up to the camera just in case you can't see it properly. I always want to see, I don't know about you, but I always want to see things closer on Tinternet with the drawings. But yeah, this is going to be like a sort of giant's graveyard. And there's a father and son, he's got a little teddy bear there, or whatever it is, little doll. And just walking across this wasteland, and I quite like that. I like the, that's what I was talking about with sunsets. I like the sunsets on that. And this is the one from yesterday, Kit Kats, You Were Here, and many others. And so this was a deep sea diver, gone down to the depths of the sea, and all of a sudden something grabs his ankle. And then if you follow along, we've got this dreadful looking sea creature with a bulbous head. And maybe it's just grabbing his ankle to say hello, or maybe it's, oh great, it's tea time, and you'll be in my, you know, meal this evening. But anyway, so yeah, so I quite liked how that turned out. We've got some other ones from the other day. You can see there these kind of, again, steampunky. So again, Kit Kats was right. Wizards, steampunky type things going on. But this other character here, it was supposed to be the other character, but it looked like a sort of mini-me version. And that one completely changed. That was going to be another drawing or inking entirely, and it turned into something else. And then we've got these kind of learned scholars from the Victorian era. Again, I always say this, I like that guy, bare knuckle fighter. And another little street scene there with this monster coming out the cobbles. And this one, of course, you've just seen. That's another one for the collection. I really liked how that turned out, and thanks for the input from Kit Kats. I think that turned out really well. You see, it pushed me into doing something a little bit different, which is always a good thing, because it's very easy just to get very samey when you're doing stuff like this. So thank you so much for that bit of art direction from Kit Kats. And then we've got Fred Dibner from An Alternate Universe. For those who are in the know, you'll know who that is. If not, maybe go and look on YouTube. And got this guy here fighting some kind of interdimensional creature. And then we've got Mrs. Miggins with tentacles in her face. And I'm guessing this is maybe her husband, the couple from another dimension that you wouldn't want to meet on a dark night. And then we've got this dude. He actually looks pretty cool. He's like an insect type creature smoking a pipe. I think, you know, if you're smoking a pipe, he probably doesn't mean you any harm. But look, he's got a glass of port in his hand as well. So, and then we've got this dude here. which I did a couple of weeks ago. So yes, and I could go on and on and on and on, but I think we will say there. So Kit Kat, as Paul Sykes would say about sharks, give him a clip round the ear hole. That's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah, Paul Sykes. I remember that clip. Whatever, is he still with us, Paul Sykes? I don't think he is or not, is he? He might have passed away. I think he did. Because I think that clip was from the 80s, I think, wasn't it? And he's like been all around the world, hasn't he? And yeah, ended up bopping it. If I've got the same guy, I think I remember he's on some estate somewhere up north, talking in his back garden. So I could do a little bit. Could end on doing a little bit of drawing, or could just end. We'll see. We'll see. What's the general consensus? What do we think? A little bit of drawing, or shall we wrap things up for now? How we do for time? Could have 10 minutes of just nice little chill out with a bit of drawing, maybe. Could do that. Maybe a bit of drawing. We'll go with the music as well, I think. There we go. Now, where was that sketch? Oh, just in case. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was going to show you this. So, just in case you're wondering where I get some of these ideas. Very often, they sort of start as thumbnails. So, I've got this. Let me just turn that down a sec. So the what is it? The deep sea diver. It just arrived out of a sketch. I did a little thumbnail, and sort of developed from there. The wizard character. Where are we? So the wizard character going through the swamp. So where are we? So that evolved from really like a thumbnail of just trying, and then building on that and drawing into it. And what else? Got that one there. That actually evolved into, where are we? That evolved into, so the character with the head really evolved into that. So you can see where I was going with that. Little thumbnail, and then sort of I had this idea of it. Well, actually, truth be told, have I got the drawing? Or is it on the other page? I've got, maybe it's somewhere else. Oh, there we go. So I did that as a thumbnail. And it was going to be this kind of mythic bird type flying. So it went from that character to that. But then the wings were a bit of a problem. And I thought, you know what, have it going over a log. So that's where. So very often, if I don't kind of capture it, often if I'm walking the dog or if I'm, just if I don't get the idea down, it kind of it goes. So I just try and do a little sketch and think, oh, that'd be nice, and then I'll sort of sketch it out and draw it. So yeah, a little behind the scenes there for you folks. Steampunk Paul Sykes, excellent, I love it. Maybe that'll be the next painting. Who knows? Paul Sykes in some kind of Victorian horror scene. I don't know. So yeah. So anyway, so that was that, and I'm just going to find. I started something on my iPad, which I might just use as. Oh, there we are. Yeah. So there was a further. Oh, there we go. So there was a further development. So from that thumbnail, I then did that. I just took a picture of it on my iPad. And then eventually that's what, if I can find it, wherever it is. And then this is what that turned into there. Anyway, a little behind the scenes. I did take a picture of the other one I was doing earlier on of a character. Somewhere. I think this was just going to be like a typical kind of warrior with a gun. Anyway, I think I'll do that one there. So I'm just going to start this drawing, folks. I'm not necessarily going to finish it, but it's like a sort of a chilled end to the stream. I'll just start sketching something in. And then we'll finish, and then you'll go off and do your own thing, whatever it is that you do. But thank you for sticking with me, and it's been lovely having you all here as per usual. And I'm just going to check on the other channel. Okay, that's been a bit kind of... All right, we've got 3 people watching on the Jason Etienne channel, so welcome, welcome. I'm just going to end this stream. I'm going to post the stream up a bit later with a little thumbnail. But for now, we're just going to end on a little bit of a sketch. This is going to be nothing too adventurous. It's just going to be a character. I was thinking like warrior character looking over to the right, and he's going to have some kind of weapon. I was thinking could be an axe, I don't know, an axe or some kind of futuristic weapon. We will see. Some kind of helmet. And then we will finish up. Like that. Some kind of chin strap. Again, I'll have to kind of develop this a little bit further, but just kind of block in there. And the nice thing about doing like live drawing as well is you just don't know where it's going to go. Just like the purple pig. Right. Something like that. Kit Kat's chainsaw-headed pike. Chainsaw-headed pike. Is this an idea for another live stream then? Could be interesting. Chainsaw-headed pike. Well, pikes can be quite scary, can't they? Anyway. Could do chainsaw-headed pike. Maybe I'll do a little sketch. So this is going to be I'm going to just throw some shapes around. Some of this may not make the final cut. I think it's just mainly just trying some shapes out, seeing if any of them land. I might take them away, I might keep them, we'll see. And so think about this. See, do I do an axe? I don't know. An axe could be good. Some kind of axe going off the page. And he's got his hand on there. I don't know. It's either going to be an axe or it's going to be like some kind of futuristic shotgun type thing. I don't have to make a decision now. I'll think about it. The axe seems pretty good because that could lend itself to some other things. So, yeah, we'll have to leave this on a cliffhanger, I think, and see which way it goes. But it's quite a nice way to kind of just a nice way to end it. We've done the usual thing, showing you a bit of the sketchbook, finished painting, and then doing a bit of nice drawing. Could also be like Mad Max or something or other. Beyond Thunderdome. Yeah, I'll put there, maybe like I'll put that, I'll write that down. Mad Max, question mark, Thunderdome. Beyond the Thunderdome. We'll see. So it could be like post-apocalyptic, something, 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 Road Warrior. So yeah, again, still kind of delving into steampunk, but in a different way, setting it way into the future. Maybe he's got like a few skulls that he's racked up. Or something like that, and some other bits. Who knows? Don't know. Some ideas. I'm going to have a think about those and what I'm going to do with it. Maybe have a sketch a bit later. Could leave it for tomorrow, or I'd just continue with it and show you tomorrow. I don't know. I'll see where the mood takes me. But okay, so Kit Kat's. Oh, sorry, I missed your chats. So chainsaw-headed pike. His weapon. Oh, his weapon. Okay. I'll write that down then. Chainsaw-headed. So would this be like pike as in the fish? So would it be like a sort of stuffed fish combined with a chainsaw? Which could be interesting. A bit of taxidermy combined with a petrol-driven chainsaw or something else. A blank with a rusty nail. Oh, a plank. A plank with a rusty nail. Could be that. It could be something like, you know, was it Lucille from The Walking Dead, you know? It's got all this kind of stuff on it. That could be an interesting one as well. To be continued. But anyway, there's a little bit of a drawing there that's on the start. We'll see where that goes. But for the meantime, we've managed to complete a picture. Nice bit of art direction from Kit Kat's there. But I think it turned out rather well, don't you? I think it's all right. I like it. This is probably going to be one of my new favourites. I think I really like how that turned out. And also, I think I've got my new paints as well. So I think that was that always helps. I've got some stronger colours going on there. So there we are, you lovely people. We're going to wrap it up there for now. I'm going to end on that. I'm going to zoom in on that so you can see it. We're going to end the stream. Thank you so much to everyone for tuning in. And lovely comments as always. Oh, pike as in a spear. Okay, I'll write that down then. So let me just get that down then. Pike as in a spear. Pike as in a spear. Ooh, that could be even more interesting. All right, spear. There we go. Yes, thank you for all the lovely comments. Thank you to Kit Kats for staying for the duration and keeping me company. And thanks to all you, the rest of you lovely people watching. Thank you for everyone who's been watching on the other channel as well. And the comments, much appreciated. I shall be making this available after the stream, so you can watch it again. I'm going to be aiming to do another stream tomorrow, possibly a bit earlier. If not, it will be around about the same time, about 6 o'clock. I'll probably send a notification. Other than that, wherever you're watching, be sure to have a lovely evening, lovely morning, afternoon, night, wherever you are. Please take care of yourselves and enjoy the rest of your time. And until next time, folks, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Okay, take care. And thanks a lot, Kit Kats. Thank you for the lovely comments. I shall catch you later. Take care. Bye for now. Take care, cats. Thank you.